In this video, we're going to pose the question, have any of you recently noticed that your homes have been reassessed and the value has gone up, your property I mean, not just so much your home, but any property that you own, and also kind of hand in hand with this, the local government is also increasing the tax rate, along with insurance. I just got a notice that my car insurance is going to increase, and a lot of the things about the policy, which kind of don't affect me because I don't have underage drivers on my insurance policy, are also going to increase and change pretty much dramatically, which is going to increase, we'll call it a necessary cost to live. You know, paying your rent or your mortgage, insuring, and if, like, I have a mortgage on this home, I must maintain homeowner's insurance, or if I don't, they will foreclose and evict me from this home. Okay? And also you need insurance to operate a motor vehicle on the roadways. These are things you kind of can't avoid, and if you do, I believe somebody I know has run afoul of the law, kind of ignoring this and not keeping their registration, insurance, and other things up to par for a while, and then get caught speeding, and next thing you know, your license is revoked and all kinds of fines and fees and stuff come along. Of course, this doesn't apply to all the illegals in the country, that are not paying any of this, or, drive around and are not held accountable to the law as, a citizen like myself. So I've kind of noticed this. On top of all the other wonderful things going on in the government, with the economy here in the country, with the global economy, and this ongoing insane conflict in the Middle East. And, well, I made another video talking about all these things. And I believe it's all interconnected, okay? Some people are saying maybe we're going to come to another housing bubble, all right? And I myself, looking at it, with the way the things are increasing, and that every year, and if my wife retires and we both go on to a fixed income within the next 10 years or so, we probably won't be able to afford to keep our home because we still have a mortgage on it. We got a new one. I think the 30 years will be up when I'm 80 some years old. All right, so it's kind of an issue. Okay, and on the other hand, see, the really weird thing is what I'm paying on the mortgage is like $300 to $400 less than if I rented a one-bedroom apartment, in the city. All right, I mean, that's the weird thing. Okay, it is, more affordable for me to stay in the home. Granted, I am responsible for any upkeep, maintenance, or, something, the plumbing and that, I have to pay for that. Where if you lived in an apartment, I guess that's all covered. But it is, a reality, a sad financial reality, that, most people are getting squeezed. Now, they had a big thing here recently in this state, and it goes by counties. I know there was another county, it was a year or so ago, that they did the reassessment of the homes. And they say you can go and petition them and get your taxes lowered and say your assessment is off. And there's an individual work with my wife that they went down, they said, hey, this assessment's too high, this is not what our property's worth, blah, blah, blah. And they said, okay, fine, must be they were talking to the clerk that was getting ready to retire. And he lowered their taxes for, it was 6 months or something. So then the next year, they reassessed everything. Now they bumped it way to hell up. And then next thing you know, they got a bill saying that that reduction was wrong. Your property was worth more at that time, and you didn't pay your taxes, so now you're delinquent in your taxes, plus there's a tax increase, and somehow they had to choke up a substantial amount of money for their property. So they got you coming and going. But my thing is, this is just like another thing, that's crushing the people in this country, regardless. With the whole financial condition here, inflation is not getting better. With this war, the cost of gasoline has gone up. And somebody kind of in a discussion of this and talking about how the global thing and the deep state and everything, one thing they kind of mentioned is a lot of the people who are in this shadow government deep state run all the major insurance companies. And somehow, it's a very complex thing, but somehow the powers to be are behind this. That's why it's like you're required. Okay, if I don't pay my homeowner's insurance, having a mortgage, or if my insurance policy is canceled, okay, the bank can foreclose on my mortgage and evict me from my home. Now in California, this has happened to people. The insurance companies have dropped their insurance, which say it's a couple grand, depending on what property, but on average, you're looking at about $2,000 for complete coverage of your home. Okay, you can cut back on the deductibles and cut back on new construction and repair, which, I don't want to do that, but you can probably cut that down by 50%. But the thing is, yes, your home is still insured, but if there's a natural disaster, a tornado, or the roof gets tore off the house, which is, you're talking major repairs, you are going to end up having to pay for the vast majority of that out of your own pocket. Okay? Car insurance. I got to notice that's going up, and that's statewide. Everyone's getting an increase. They're changing the way that they do it. A lot of it doesn't affect me because I don't have any moving violations and I don't have any underage drivers. Okay, I don't have no children that are on my insurance or teenagers or anything like that. But the changes to the policy are going to make it excruciatingly expensive for anyone that's a family person that has teenagers or college-age children on their insurance. It's going to be, a pretty substantial increase. And is all of this tied in to the government collapsing? And like I said, who really runs all these major insurance companies? And then I've heard of people complaining, like with homeowners insurance and that, to where they just deny paying your claims. Okay, we had a discussion down at the Veterans Post about it one afternoon because everyone was saying their homeowners insurance is going up, along with their taxes. Okay, and now you got hit with the car insurance. Now these are things that you have to, they're a necessity. You run afoul of the law if you don't pay them. So it's kind of like they're forcing your hand. You can't go without. I mean, you can. Some of my friends do, but then once something goes wrong, or one traffic violation, or one accident, or one storm damages your home, and you find out you're in deep crap over this. Okay. And it can financially destroy you. And people are all living on a fine edge right now. The amount of people failing with credit cards, the amount of people failing with mortgages, and that is on the increase. And it's, I guess, all part of the global economic warfare. Okay? Our country's collapsing from within. And I don't know where it's going to go, okay, but I do believe that all of it is connected. And you can say that President Trump isn't doing his job or something. And the thing is, irregardless who is elected president, there are a lot of things somewhat out of the control of the government, or if you have leverage on the people in the government, and these large corporations or entities have a way of forcing them to not regulate or control or pass regulations and controls in their favor. Okay, I think it's all kind of connected, all in one giant swirling mess of shit. Okay, and it's just for the average person, things here are going to get really unpleasant as time goes on. I don't see any of this getting better unless there's a drastic change in the way we run everything. Okay, the government, the banking, the job market, all of it. Our whole country's falling apart. And it's very unpleasant. I just hope that things can change. I guess voting may help. But like I said with the Epstein files, you've seen where just about every major person that has either political connections or all these billionaires and that, they got some kind of blackmail stuff on them to force them to do things, irregardless, which I think President Trump did try to counter this, and I've seen a viewpoint on this current military operation, which that is a way that they're trying to break this. The thing with the ICE raids and that is they're dismantling the illegal drug trade, which is an untraceable pipeline of money, which is also affecting the global economy, because it's part of the global economy, whether it's illegal or not. It's substantial. It's a substantial amount of untraceable money slushing around worldwide that if you break the system, you're basically, it looks like people are trying to go against the oligarchs, the deep state, whatever how you want to call it, the people who are outside of the spotlight that actually do control a lot of things in our everyday life. There is a war going on, and all of this is the result of that. Okay, I just wanted to get that out, thinking about it today, sitting here having a cup of coffee, wondering what's going to happen to me 5 to 10 years from now. Will I be homeless or what? All right, guys, thank you. And stay tuned.